Hi, welcome to Planetary Calendars, Astro Portraits. I'm Ralph Dimitrius, one of the calendar's astrologers. The portrait this time is actually part of our Superwoman series, our Wonder Woman series, and this one's actually a polarity. This is Kate Winslet. The one before this was Jessica Chastain, and Kate is the polarity. She is such a polarity to Jessica Chastain, and she's not one of these people who does action movies. It's just not really in her bailiwick, you know. But I thought it'd be great to compare the two to show you why that is. She is born October 5th, 1975 at 7:15 a.m. in Reading, England. So it's BST, it's -1 hour. She's born with the sun at 11 degrees Libra. But that's not the only thing she has in Libra. She has the ascendant at 11 degrees Libra. She was born right at sunrise. She has the moon at 13 degrees Libra. She has Mercury at 20 degrees Libra retrograde. And she has Pluto at 9 degrees Libra and the part of fortune at 9 degrees Libra conjunct the Pluto. So within 9, 9, 11, 11, 13, 20, she has 4 planets and the ascendant, including the sun and moon. And because the sun and the moon are conjunct, the part of fortune is at the ascendant. Okay? A lot of Libra. What else does she have? Well, what's funny, one of the things we should look at is, since everything's in Libra, what's Venus doing? Because Venus is the ruler of Libra, and therefore you have to look back at Venus and say, well, what are you doing, Venus? How are you pulling the strings? Venus is at 00 degrees, 33 minutes, Virgo. Now, the sun in Libra is actually what's called the fall position. And the reason is that the sun is exalted in Aries, and the sign opposite that is called its fall position. It's called the confidant position. It lives in the private world. Okay, so Libra's not a strong position. The moon is not dignified. None of these other planets are dignified. Venus in Virgo is also the fall position. Once again, a confidant. And while all this stuff is at Libra at the rising, right there in front of everybody, the Venus in Aries is in the 12th house, which is the area of the studio. We find that a lot of actors and directors have very strong 12th houses. It's a land of make-believe, among other things, about the protected studio space. Now, being in Virgo, you would think, well, this is someone who's, is very precise and works very well there, but it goes beyond there. Know why? It's at 00 degrees. That's conjunct the royal star Regulus. A very powerful star, especially in the charts of people who are in the public eye. They love the acclaim. It's the heart of the lion. They just want the love of the audience in the 12th house. She likes the love of the set on the set. She likes working with a team of people who appreciate what she's doing. And what's funny is the Venus, of course, has to go back to the Mercury. So the Mercury and the Venus are what are called mutual receptions, which means they're both in each other's sign. And so there's a very strong communication between them. They tend to cooperate. And yet, once again, it's about really tapping into an artistic thing. This is not a person who would tend to do a one-person show, though if she did, she'd be working very carefully with the writer and the director. She wouldn't direct herself in it. She would work with a writer, and she's a team player. She likes to be cooperative. She doesn't like to step out by herself. With all this stuff in Libra, she's got to be the most polite person on the planet. She would make the typical Japanese person, businessman, look rude in comparison because she's so sensitive to fairness and justice and what the other person thinks is important. It's just critical to her with all this stuff in Libra, especially the sun and the moon. Now, what else is going on in the chart? We know where the Venus is. Where's Mars? See, in these superpower, these superhero women, Mars and Venus. Mars, Venus, Mercury. Mercury and Mars for the action, Venus for the artistry. Where's Mars? Mars is in Gemini. Mars is in Gemini, highly elevated in the chart, actually up in the 9th house, and is at 26 degrees, so it works cooperatively with the Mercury. She's very good with language. In fact, she just did a whole series called The Mayor of Easttown. And there was this huge amount of discussion about how she had to master the Philadelphia accent and how hard it was to get the Philadelphia accent down right. And yet she just nailed it. She just got it perfectly. She just worked on it. Why? Venus and Virgo. It's a great talent with languages. Mars, and also in the Mercury rules sign, Mercury is languages. She has Mars and Venus in the language planet signs. See, of course she's good with languages. And the Mars trines the Mercury from a Mercury ruled sign. She also has Selena, which is a nodal point there, which shows that she's really, like when she had to work with her, voice coach and her, I'm sure she worked with an accent coach. They just loved her. They just loved working with her, and she loved working with them. What else is going on in her chart? She has the midheaven at 14 degrees, Cancer. Does that sound familiar? 14 degrees Cancer. It's 1 degree away from the degree of the United States. It's also 1 degree away from the degree of Amazon, the company, by the way. It's conjunct the second brightest star in the sky after our sun, Sirius. It means that in her career, she's luminous. She has this great luminous quality about it. Remember that it's in Cancer. It's thoroughly feminine. Even though Sirius is actually not in Cancer's constellation, it's a very feminine energy. It's home. It's right in the middle of Cancer right now. At the same time, you have, Venus at Regulus, the lion's heart. You've got these big stars having an influence. Now, it's interesting. She comes from an acting family, but she far exceeded kind of anything that anyone expected from her. And we do see this when you have very strong fixed star connections, that people will just kind of rise up to prominence from, way beyond what anyone expected. I mean, after all, Libra rising, of course she's a lovely person. Libra rising makes people just lovely to look at, lovely to be around. But this kind of rise to prominence is real extreme. What's interesting is that as polite as she is, she has Jupiter opposite her Mercury in the 7th house in Aries, right? And vertex there as well, and Chiron. Now, she tends to attract very opinionated, very intelligent partners. That's why I said her ability to work with to partner with a very creative, very personable director is real important to her. She likes working with interesting people. She likes working with creative people. That really works for her. But in all of these things, she's very dependent upon other people initiating things. When the sun's conjunct the rising, normally that person really is good at initiating things. But for her, she'll initiate a discussion. She's not an aggressive person. She'll chat you up. She'll be polite. Oh, can I help you with that? Oh, you dropped that. Oh, start the conversation going. It's Mars and Gemini. Engage with them. And then we'll see where it goes to from there. This is not Jessica Chastain who gets in your face and says, "What are you doing? Let's go here." It's not Zoe Saldana who's is gonna move you along real fast. It's gonna challenge you. It's a very different type of thing. It's more responsive, it's more polite, it's more respectful. It's a very different type of personality, but it's a lovely personality, and it's a really remarkable chart. This huge stellium in Libra being applied through Venus in the 12th house in Virgo. It's interesting how many times among very significant actors, they have a lot of planets in full and detriment positions. It allows them to have tremendous depth and perception about people. And that's one of the things that she has. So that was Kate Winslet. I hope you found it interesting. Come see us at Planetary Calendar Astrology on YouTube. And also you come see us at planetarycalendar.com. We post our forecast every Friday. We post our portraits every Tuesday. And of course at planetarycalendar.com, you can also find our calendars, the planetary calendar. You're going to want to know what's going on, and our books. Until next time, be well.